So Gatis made this video and I felt like responding. I'm not making this hoping that he sees this, and even if he does, I'm not hoping or deluding myself that he will, listen and or try to change anything. I believe the man is incorrigible. I'm not making this video to clout chase. I'm making this video because, well, I've been wanting to talk about relationships a little bit for quite some time now. And also because I see a lot of men mostly struggling. Obviously, I see women struggling too, but what do I know about that? Right? I see a lot of men talking out their ass, basically, being incoherent, angsty, mad, and just making the problem worse. So basically, there are a lot of problems out there, and what you hear from the manosphere, for example, or someone like Sferia, or a lot of his followers, in my view, these are not solutions. These are ways of making the problem worse. Anyway, let's just jump into it and I'll try to justify myself.
All right. Yeah, why not? You guys keep asking me about this girl who used to be in my videos, which is completely irrelevant to my life right now. But okay, she appeared in some of my live streams for 20-30 minutes.
I think it's very telling that he doesn't want to say her name and how he dismisses her. I think he's lying to himself. Clearly, he's very, very hurt. My opinion. Everything I say here is my opinion, right? Most of it anyway.
And then in some other separate videos. That's about it. She essentially has nothing to do with my channel. It's simply because we were together, so to speak, that she appeared now. And then she doesn't eat the diet that I promote. Nothing. She really has no relevance whatsoever. But all right.
If you're so focused on diet, it's such a huge part of your life, why do you get with someone who is not of the same beliefs as you? Not part of your tribe. Like, why did you do that?
I'm making this video just to shut you up, so to speak.
And a lot of these, if I do ask them, are going to be rhetorical questions. Like, the answer is obvious. Let's not get too graphic or vulgar.
I made a video in January. It's 30 minutes long. It's on my Patreon account. It explains everything. Now, if you're going to say you don't want to pay 15 bucks or you don't have 15 bucks to subscribe to my Patreon, then fuck off. If you have a phone, you have a laptop, or you have internet, you have $15. Everybody does. Doesn't matter if you're from...
I spent my $50 on my phone, my laptop, and my internet. All the $50 that I had, so it's okay.
India, China, or whatever, it's absolute bullshit. If you don't care about it enough, that's cool. Because it's my private life. Some people care about it for whatever reason. And then they subscribe to Patreon and check it out. If you don't and you just watch my videos, that's cool because my videos have literally zero to do with my private life. The Epitome series, anti-vegan events, and so on, which is essentially what made my channel popular.
So I think he is making a distinction between his public and private life. I thought that was obvious. And my comment about the $50 was, it's not very logical or reasonable what he's saying there, right? Just because we have $50 for this or that, that doesn't mean that we have $50 for him, right? But whatever.
Zero to do with my private life. It's just irrelevant to my channel. But I understand why some people are curious about it and so on. And that's all fine. But then stop asking questions about it and then say, oh, I don't want to actually subscribe to the Patreon and watch the video. It doesn't make any sense. Anyway.
I mean, I think that's reasonable. That's acceptable. If you're that interested in the man's private life, why should it be free? Clearly, he's somewhat uncomfortable talking about it, right?
Bottom line here is, if you ask anything about Demon Psycho, that's how I call her nowadays. Uh,
So she may be those things, right? I wouldn't know. Do you know? Right? But the simple fact that he's just throwing that at her, right? As if she didn't have a name, as if maybe there was no, well, underlying issues or whatever the case may be for why she is that way. And, some of that might have to do with him, right? Just to basically in any relationship to just put everything on the other person, it cannot be so because relationships are, it's about the two of you, right? So to completely absolve yourself of any responsibility and act like you're completely good and the other person is completely bad, that's really sounds like he's projecting, right? And he's not taking responsibility at all. It could be that it was 90% her, right? But to not take any responsibility is just childish. To act this way, it's not very manly at all, bro.
or about my son in my live streams, you're getting blocked right away. Also, I'm telling this to all my moderators. Any questions about her or him, block right away from now on. This is like a warning video, basically. Okay, this is it. The top.
Super sensitive, right? He's totally hurt. He was probably head over heels for this girl. I mean, infatuated. I'm guessing. I mean, she's not of his tribe, right? She's completely whatever. She eats shit diet. She's not healthy. Blah blah blah. And yet there she was, a huge part of your life. You made a child with this woman. Like, she must have had something, right? Oh, Sveria, you're such a boy, man.
Topic is just completely done on my channel.
Pussy whipped, dummies. Pussy whipped.
I haven't talked to her in over 2 months. I never thought about her once. It's just like she's nothing to me.
She's the mother of your child. You and her shared genes and created another life. You guys together have a legacy, genetic legacy, Mr. Natural, right? That's nothing to you.
It's not as if even she's my ex-girlfriend.
I watched this video previously, so I'll just point it out right now. He's gonna stumble over his words. He's gonna mumble a lot. He's just gonna. This is very difficult for him, clearly, right? There's a lot of distress there, right? He's emotionally affected for sure. She's not nothing to him, obviously.
I was with 3 women after her, and now I'm married to my dream girl.
Coping. It's called coping.
Yeah, that's my so-called future. That's all that I focus and think about. I never think.
I'm talking about those 3 women, Best of luck to him and his wife right now, but would you be shocked if that eventually blew up too, right? It's just going to be all her fault too? Really? Look, hopefully it doesn't, right? But
About any exes, it's nothing to me. And as I said in the live stream that I did, she's the worst human I've met in my life. It's just like nothing that I would ever think about, and I'm not joking with that.
okay, let's suppose it's hyperbolic, but let's suppose that it's in some sense true. Shouldn't you take responsibility for having gotten with and made a child with the worst human in the world? And if she really is that, maybe that's what attracted you, right? Because you like that sort of thing. Maybe? And if not, then why did you get what? She just put a spell on you? You couldn't help yourself? What? We gotta do better than that, guys. Seriously.
By the way, I've met terrible people who have treated me terribly and backstabbed me and whatnot.
No offense. Like, this really isn't throwing shade toward the guy, but this is bitch made, man. Anytime men start, and this is the problem with this, all these menist movements like MGTOW or the manosphere, the red pill, black, whatever the hell, right? All that stuff. That's just, it's Marxism, man. It's the man or some force out there creating a victim group and supporting this victim group in their misery just so they could get them to carry out their goals, their agendas, right? And Sveria is a useful idiot too. And this is weak, right? Like, we all get fucked by people, but what a man does is the man recognizes why he allowed himself to be fucked over, right? Whatever that moment of weakness was that someone took advantage of, it was your weakness, right? This is what we're supposed to do. Learn from that and not put it out there for some other people to see and potentially take advantage of, right? We're all weak at some point, right? We all have our weak spots, but the strength is not to show them. And I'm not saying never, but come on, man. You gotta be the rock, right? That others use for support. As a man, that's your job, bro. Nature, homie.
Nothing that they did is even comparable to what she did to me. So, and I even in the 30-minute video.
How do you, on the one hand, try to project this image of some strong, natural, hunter-gatherer type human being, and then paint yourself as a victim at the same time, right? It's just so contradictory, and it's just so telling.
Yeah, I don't give all the details. I can make a 3-hour video of just the abuse alone. This, even longer. I mean, there's so many stories. It's just like it's whatever. Right? The thing is, I don't think about it anymore. I don't.
She abused him. Like, how do you let a little girl abuse you? You're supposed to be the alpha, strong man. Like, how do you let a little girl abuse you? What is the matter with you? This is just weakness. You know what I mean? Okay, maybe someone could trick you once, twice, but enough for you to be able to talk about it for 3 hours? You gotta take responsibility. And look, we've heard stories about Sveria too. Like, come on, man. And I never bought into him saying that, oh, it must be true, like the stabbings or whatever, right? But at the same time, I would never put it past them either, because come on, man. For all of us who have been around long enough and are intuitive enough, and we've watched 2 or 3 or 10 of his videos, like, it's not that difficult to tell. The motherfucker's creepy. You know what I mean? Like, the kid got issues, like, no doubt about it. Which isn't to absolve her from whatever her part in the relationship was, but it's like birds of a feather.
Need people basically to comment about it and talk about it. But I understand that it's like she was in my videos and all of a sudden I'm married. Like, what happened? Okay, like I kind of understand. But then again, if you really care about my private life so much or support my channel, you would have already subscribed to my Patreon or would have already seen the video and that's it. But okay, if you were somehow ignorant about the video existing, then okay, now you know. But now it's done. It's out there. It's very easy to subscribe and to watch it, and that's it.
I banged 3 girls and I married the fourth, okay? Ah. Dude, this is such a cope.
Okay, so I was getting after I made a video about her, she got incredibly mad, like incredibly pissed off that people, basically found out what she did, so to speak. Message, call me all the time, every day, basically.
So you know that if you make this video, it's gonna make her mad, right?
I blocked her everywhere on every app, or WhatsApp, Skype, numbers, everything. She got a way around it, used different numbers. Emailed me.
This is like a little kid throwing rocks at somebody from across the street, and then when they go to pursue that kid, he runs home, right? Safely to mama, right? Like, dude, if you're gonna put that out there and then completely and utterly block her from responding, right? You're gonna have this public, what seems like maybe should be, if you're gonna do this in public in the first place, which is just fucked up anyway. But if you're gonna say all these things about her, we're just getting one side of the story. Of course she's gonna be upset. Do you think you could really adequately represent her? Especially since you're saying that all of it is her fault and you have no part in it? How, even if it's just 5% that's your part, that's enough to piss her off, because what you see as 5%, maybe she sees as 50. Maybe she sees that as 90. You know, it's a matter of perspective. And we're just getting yours, and you don't want her to have a say. You don't want her to respond. Dude, you're so hurt. And you know this is going to make her mad, right? Is that part of the reason why you're doing this?
Like 5, 10 different emails. Really just when I went to Florida, she was begging to come to me, wanted me to buy her a ticket. Then and it just went on and on until I really said, I don't know when this was, maybe end of March, start of April, or something like that. That okay, let's just put it as yeah, I'm not gonna.
So maybe she wanted to reconcile something in some way, shape, or form, right? She's reaching out. The mother of your son is reaching out to you. Do you care about your son?
Give any exact details here, but something about her body, basically, that I never liked, so to speak.
Whenever people say that, they're not actually being neutral, right? Because you could construe, oh, I just didn't like that as maybe neutral. What they're really saying is, I disliked something about her body, right? So you didn't like her diet, lifestyle, who she was as a person. She was the worst person in the world. You had a problem with her body, and yet there you were, sowing seed in the woman. Why? At what point do you take responsibility for yourself?
And that pissed her off really much. But it was.
And ladies and gentlemen, if there's something you dislike about a potential mate's body, all right, don't get with them. Okay? Now, it could be that your standards are just fucked up, or the problem is yours. Whatever the case may be, if that problem persists, don't get with that person. Be honest with yourself and them. Why would you do that?
Just how it is, which she already knew, but like, I guess I never, like, we already talked about it. She was obsessed with it, but then I said it out loud, and she got pissed off like crazy. But she was very, she was really abusing me to the point where it was like, I felt nothing. It was like, whatever. Yeah, I mean, you abuse me basically every day. You call me, you scream and shout at me every day.
Does he look like someone who doesn't feel? Look, man, you're giving up some, you're hinting at some very, like, personal, private shit. Do you have her permission to talk about this shit?
Essentially, It was just whatever, okay? That pissed her off even more. Then I made the video, Demon, the worst.
So he knows how to push her buttons, and he continues to do that. And I didn't watch many of his videos, but I happened to catch. I don't know if it was something. I think it was somebody chopped up, where he was pushing her buttons, right? Like, clearly, I'm not taking no sides here, man. If even half of what he's saying is true, then their relationship was that of two deeply disturbed people. Okay.
I've ever met in my life, and that was that's pretty much when we had like the last call. She just called me names. I thought, yeah, fuck it, I'm just gonna talk about it. What happened?
Sounds like a bunch of bullshit to me. Just the impression that I get, man. Yeah. Suffice it to say, you're not getting the full story here. And do you think... I don't want to accuse him of anything, but this isn't it. This is just a feeling that I get. I'm not saying he's lying. He may be a little bit deluded.
And
at the very least, he's biased.
And yeah, a lot of people also saw the video that I made, the long one, and that's really when the topic was done. I didn't think about it at all until I made the live stream with my wife, and then people were asking. I thought, but you really still don't understand what happened, so that's really it. Okay. Also.
Yeah, let's get back on track, huh?
So. Let's see. Okay.
Get your story straight, homie.
Okay, so for one thing, just so you kind of understand the context or whatever a little bit, her mother.
Apart from some of the diet advice, you should never stand under anything this man says. Just some good advice, okay?
Is an alcoholic who, like her.
Here we go. Details, right? Like, dude, if... And even though like I'm addressing him, I'm not really talking to him. It's the general dude out there with similar problems. And, you know, to a degree, come on, man. If you're old enough, all of us been there, right? It's time to learn. This isn't something that you just put out there like that. It's just so unfair. It's wrong. Do you have permission? If she's dead to you, she means nothing to you, then how is this even any of your business? Why are you putting this out there? Something that she confided to you in private. You really think she wants all that out there? Or are you just so jaded and hurt and emotional that you want to hurt her? This isn't going to go. It's not going to lead to anything positive. Definitely not for your child.
Fridge is full of alcohol only. She doesn't give a shit about her. She once almost dropped the baby even. Never let her hold him again since then. And
tell us about your fucked up childhood.
Yeah, basically, okay. It's just like, you really gotta understand the context a little bit, but I will understand also that people are just never gonna understand this because, like, you met the fake, the fake girl with the fake smile, the makeup covering up her demonic dark eye circles and everything. Like, you don't know her. I don't give a fuck if you believe that you know her from the videos. Like, people that met her in real life, they know how she really is. If you don't, it doesn't matter to me. It's whatever. But I'm giving the context to the people who care about this. Okay, her father was a hypnotherapist, and when she was, and this is approximately like 3 to 5 years old, I also don't know how long it went on. I don't even know if she really knows how long, because she was too young. He hypnotized her, and when she got back to conscious, so to speak, she was bleeding, it was hurting.
Again, it's none of our business, and it shouldn't be any of your business if you were true to your word. Now, why would you put her out there like that? You think she's okay with this, right? You have like zero respect for her. She's the mother of your child. For crying out loud, have a little bit of just tact and understanding, humanity, respect, something. And if you must, just say that she was abused. But to like go into detail of what happened to her, it's just so wrong, dude. It's so wrong. Would you want your darkest secrets you confided in someone in private out there like that? Clearly, you seem to be uncomfortable sharing your private life, right? And yet you have no qualms about talking about something terrible that happened to her.
You know from where. I'm not gonna go into details here, anything graphic. And she only years later realized what he did to her and what happened to her. There's a very good reason why I'm explaining this to you. Now, this is somebody who grew up absolutely messed up, was addicted to drugs for like 4 or 5 years, drank 10 cups of coffee and slept 2-3 hours a day. That's what she said when she was studying and working. She was doing both. Quit that, she couldn't finish it, and went vegan for 2 years. And there's probably more details.
That kind of sounds like, maybe if we exchange drugs for video games or toy around with the story a little bit. But that sounds like his life story, right? These two, there's a reason why they attracted each other, right?
And the boyfriend before me, he strangled her, almost killed her, where she was purple. I don't know.
Now, I don't know if these things are true, but there was a lot of speculation that he abused her as well, right? And from what we understand, women who've been abused by family, relatives in their childhood or when young tend to fall into that same trap, seek that same sort of thing out in mates, right? So I mean, everybody was just abusing her, right? And what? You were the white knight that was gonna save her, and that's why she dumped you because you were just, or that's why things didn't work out between the two of you, is because you were just so great to her. Is that what happened?
What she did to him, like, that's pretty nuts. Something must have happened there. And then I think weeks later, she tried to.
He just told you basically, right? Like, well, if he did do that, it's because she did something to him, right? Yeah, these two were probably at each other's throats, man. Pulling out knives on one another. I mean, we've heard other eyewitnesses talking about. And look, I don't know the details. I don't care that much, but this shit just like gets around. He's been known to pull out knives on people too. Like this is just what these people do. All of them are fucked up.
Stab him and kill him. That's the whole story that she told me. She didn't give me incredibly many details. I always ask, like, what happened? There must be a reason you don't get that far. It's something.
Did she say you were at liberty to share that with the world?
Something does happen, but she didn't never really explain what was there. But the relationship was obviously super messed up, which is why she. Well, you can even see on the one live stream where she attacked me with knives so many times. She just brought all those problems to us. But anyway, that's already a bit off topic almost, because I'm just trying to.
Are knives natural?
You gotta understand, like, it's not even about her. Imagine anybody. This happens to anybody.
No, not at all, bro. Not at all.
You literally have a toxic body. You can only have toxic relationships because you have a toxic brain. Like, you're toxic, like you're dead. And that's how she looks like without makeup.
So she's got those dead Sanpaku eyes, right? The same kind of eyes that he's had forever, right? These two are so much like the other, right? He's got those same dead eyes, right? What is his toxin? Something.
She looks dead, like a demon. That's why I call her demon, because she kind of looks like a demon when you see her in real life. I mean, people have said how incredibly unhealthy she looks.
So this is the guy that says God doesn't exist, right? guy that a lot of people have said is satanic. I think he's said it himself that I don't remember some of his older videos, right? That he's into all of that, right? So now the demon is bad. Is that him projecting who he is, right? He recognizes these forces, however, whatever he thinks those things are exactly. He's just talking about black and white, good and bad, right? And at points in his YouTube career, he's admitted to being a demon, Satan, of that ilk, right? Into that, saying that that's, you know, natural or whatever the hell, right? That, you know, raping is natural and all these other things. He said all kinds of crazy shit, admitted to, you know, molesting an underage girl. Like, he's admitted to it in a video. Maybe he's taken them down, I don't know. But, like, clearly this guy's not, he's not a good person.
In real life, people have many times said that my subscribers who meet her, and anybody who met her for over a week knows how incredibly mean and fuck, man. Just when I think about it, I truly, like, no bullshit.
It's difficult to get this out. This is like, he's very emotional.
100% honestly here, I really believe that she's a narcissist psychopath. I really do.
Which is exactly what he is, right? Come on.
Okay, just so I understand how I see her. Okay, so...
And I'm not saying he's wrong about her either.
That in a nutshell, that's her. And in April, when all of this was going on, she was like super abusive to me. She calls me and she's saying that she's...
Aw, you poor little, what, 6'1", 190-pound man getting abused by a little girl. Fuck, really?
Having my sons, which is what I talk about in the live stream, but they didn't give any details, hands, fingers, and making him, you know, do what to her. And I don't really want to give details. It was also making me like throw up, honestly. It makes me fucking sick, man, and fucking hell. And yeah, and she was enjoying it on the phone, and she was fucking like...
Is it making you sick or is it making you smile?
Yeah, she was...
This guy's mentally ill, like seriously mentally ill.
Getting off on it. What the fuck? If any fucking child protective services would hear about it...
Why is he smiling? Is it true? Maybe it's Duper's delight. I don't know. Did it happen? Maybe she just said it did to trigger him, right? Like, you're just getting one side of the story. I'm not claiming to know what the truth is, right? But like, you know, it makes him throw up. Why is he smiling?
Boom! Right away, they would take them away. I fucking made that video. I wrote them emails. I called them. I called the police. Two of my subscribers called the police from the Netherlands. Many people wrote to the Child Protective Services. Can't do anything because of Unicorn. We can't do anything.
You can't do anything because you don't have any proof. You're just saying these things. Where's the evidence that that actually happened? Did you even record the conversation?
Can't go to anybody's house and check up on them now. They can't go for months, so nobody can fucking go there and do anything now. People write to me still like, oh, why don't you give her money to support the child? Like, you don't fucking understand the context whatsoever. Now, let's put all of this...
What's the context? It's not your child?
Aside, and let's say nothing happened. It's like, oh, we have a fight, we break up, child is with mother, give her money. How fucking unnatural, how fucking brainwashed by feminism and the government.
Here we go. Here we go. I'm not gonna give her money because feminism? What? I'm not gonna pay child support because you're brainwashed? Let's hear the justification for why you're not gonna support your child.
environment are you? In nature, a woman disrespects a guy.
Because nature, right? Because feminism, you're brainwashed, and nature. So far, these are the justifications, right? Did he really say anything? Let's see.
Break up, done, bye-bye.
Okay, so in nature, a woman disrespects a man and they break up and bye-bye? Okay, how do you know this? Where did you get this idea from, right? Like, how would you even know any of this? See, this is what these people do, and this is a problem in the manosphere too, right? It's always like, we are evolved to blah 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 blah. These people have a view of relationships and women, and they know how they feel in certain situations, right? So then they, in their heads, interpret that as, oh, well, that's a natural reaction. So if this were to happen in nature, this is how everybody would act because this is how I act. Can you give us some concrete examples of how these things happened? Can you give us any proof, evidence of how these things happen in nature? And even if you could point to some, I don't know, remote tribe in the South American rainforest of something like this happening, well, that's not you, right? That's not society today. And how do you know that that's what, even if that was somehow a relevant argument, that before, you wore shoes and drove cars and used the internet and begged for money online, how, you know, how do you even know that that's what would have happened, right? Like, it's so pseudo-scientific, this bullshit. And manosphere is full of this nonsense. Like, we're evolved. Women are hypergamous by nature, and this is why they do what they do. And when we used to wear bearskins and smack each other over the head with clubs, we would have dealt with the problem in this way and that way. So now that, we fly planes and Western civilization, y'all, and we was kangs and all this other shit, right? We should act the same way still. Fuck.
It's another woman, moves on. That's normal. You don't go to your tribesmen and say, hey,
that's normal? You don't go to your tribesmen? What?
Hey, bring some meat and berries to the woman who abused me or whatever.
This guy's mentally ill and deluded. Like, he just invented this in his head. How would any of us know how it worked? And, like, how? It's just, wow.
Never in a million years gonna happen because it's just like, it's done from there on. And just because modern, it's fucking brainwash nowadays, they tell you that you should you owe, men owe somebody to a woman. Like, we don't owe women shit.
No one's saying that. They're saying you owe the child something, not the woman.
She literally owes me thousands of euros, but...
Oh, she owes him, right? So, the reason why he won't support his child is because he's mad at her, right? And he's going to make the child suffer. Basically, that's what he said, right? Don't blame me. He said it.
Besides that, I don't owe her anything in any way at all. I would never give her anything. Never. She gets tons of money from the government welfare. She has plenty of money. She has no issues. There's nothing. It's just...
Send your child some diapers, maybe some shoes, maybe some clothes, maybe a little bicycle. You could do that, right?
It's so amazing that people talk about this and don't understand the context whatsoever. It's just basically I'm making this video just so you understand it, because...
Yeah, it's hard to get this out, right?
It's like, you're gonna keep talking about it because you don't understand it.
What?
Anyway, what if it was...
It's literally incoherent, right? Unintelligible.
The other way around, and I did something to her and I was taking care of the child now. Would you fucking guys, you fucking pussies, go to her and tell her, give him money because he's taking care...
So the guy that got manipulated, abused, taken advantage of over and over, right? She borrowed a bunch of money from him that she owes him now, just completely took advantage of him, and then on top of that, cheated on him, from what I hear, right? He's not the pussy, right? The people saying, dude, take care of your child like a man, those people are the pussies. Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Of the child, she's only abusing him. No, because
It makes him happy? Okay, maybe it's nervous laughter, but he seems to light up when he says it.
she's a woman, she shouldn't give me money. Oh, because I have different genitals, I should give her money. Like what kind of bullshit is this? This is a fucking system made against men. That's all that this is, and you fucking
Just these like wide brushstroke statements, right? This is a system made against man. Men made this system, didn't they? Aren't we in charge? Shouldn't we be? At least to a large degree. Now, look, I don't want to get into the whole conversation. I know what he's talking about, right? But I think, look, a lot of us men don't feel this way. We don't. Is it because we're better able to navigate the system? Yeah. But if we're not victims of the system, then how can you say that it's aimed, how that it's working against us? Those of us who don't see the system as worse toward us men than women. There's a lot of us who don't see it that way, don't experience it this way. Wouldn't a fair thing to say be that this system is designed to punish certain male behavior? Whether that's right or wrong, that's a separate conversation. But to just say that this entire system is against all men, well, sorry, I disagree. Because my experience is different, right? And ultimately, that's really what this comes down to. Like, what kind of a man are you? And look, I'm not saying that like it's right or wrong, right? He is. He's making moral claims, right? But he doesn't believe morality exists. No objective morality exists, which means morality doesn't exist. And yet there he is, making moral claims. What's right and what's wrong, right? Black and white, demon. Okay.
fall for it. Never fucking give. Like, it doesn't matter if you're a guy or a girl. You break up, it's done. You never give the money, never support them in any way at all. Because, I mean, except if you feel some guilt or something, but this is literally the opposite situation. And, for example, my friend from Julian could confirm this in Turkey. We were playing poker. Something irritated her with the cards. My son was around her legs. He couldn't, but it was basically like, mommy, like, I love you, like, I want to be with you, like, hugs her leg. She gets like irritated, like, dark eye circles, like, whatever. Stands up. He falls to the ground on this oops, the camera, on this kind of ground, literally saying, what he said, I don't give a fuck, goes outside, he doesn't give a fuck about him at all, but you gotta understand, she sees him as
What did you do?
her property, okay? Like, she said, I will never see him again.
Yeah, up to a certain age, kids are essentially our property. Essentially, right? That doesn't mean we shouldn't take care of them, but yeah, that's...
Now, it doesn't matter what the fuck happens. You don't say to a parent, you will never see your child again. Like, it's like there's two parents, right? Now, this is why I would never name him by name anyway, but this is why I call him the baby, because...
Wow. Well, if there are two parents, then, do something. Do something for your son.
I left it behind me, as weird as it may sound to some people, and I never set myself up as the dad on paper, so I don't have any rights by the government to deal with it anyway. There's nothing I can do. I can't.
So you didn't take the legal steps necessary you just didn't assume responsibility from the very beginning. You didn't want to be responsible. That's what that sounds like to me. You don't give a shit about your child, man. Come on.
There's nothing. Uh, if I would go through some legal process, it would cost probably 5 to 10,000 euros, if not more, in the Netherlands. I will never have that kind of money. I don't think I would ever be able to raise it.
Man, didn't you just get like $1,000 for a camera from a single donor? Didn't you just raise thousands of dollars in a matter of days just to get a camera? Whatever. Why do you even have to go with the legal route, right? She wanted to come see you. Now, I'm not saying they should rekindle anything, but obviously both of them are fucked up, right? But hey, maybe you could work out some kind of a compromise where she agrees to get help, right? And you promise to provide. You don't send her money, right? Buy things that she would have otherwise for the child, if that makes you feel better, or buy the kid something. Take care of the kid, right? Maybe you could have worked something like that out. But he doesn't care to work anything out. He just cut her off because he's a child. He's bitter. And their kid is going to suffer for it. And I'm not just saying it's only his fault, it's both of their fault, right? Whatever the case was that she wanted from him, there was a chance there. She wanted to come see him at the very least. They could have potentially worked something out, right? She reached out. He's not about that. That's why he never, established himself as the legal guardian. Never, whatever it is that he had to do to be that is because he never wanted the responsibility. Probably never wanted the child. Maybe at some point he did, but like, why did you make a kid in the first place, right? How did you get in this situation with the woman that apparently you hate and is just so bad? You dislike her body. She's ugly. She's got a terrible diet. Underneath all that makeup, she's just a witch. And underneath that, she's an even worse witch. And yet there you are, making a child with this woman. Come on.
That kind of money I also don't want to bother. It's just, it wouldn't happen. Like, I know that I would never get that much. And I would have to live in the Netherlands probably for years, because it would go on for years, the process. And I would very likely lose it anyway, because, I have a cult online or something that would think of, he eats raw meat, he drinks blood, He's crazy.
Yeah, you are. It is what it is, man. You are.
I would never win that anyway. Now, there's nothing for me to do here. I understand that he's going through hell right now. I tried everything I can. I mean, what else can you do than
really? Come on.
Contact the authorities? If they can't do anything because they don't have proof of it, like they can't even.
He wants Big Brother to handle it for him, right? He contacted the authorities. Does she have like a restraining order against you? She wanted to come see you. You can't go see your kid. You try to work something out. No one's saying like you gotta be, a family or whatever. But come on. He's done everything. He picked up the phone, and he emailed the authorities, right?
Investigate because of unicorn now. Then, like, what can you do? But anyway. This is a lot, but I wanted this to be like a 2-minute video, but realistically it's not possible. I really just want the topic to be done, but there's like tons of examples where she has no motherly instinct, but again, like it's not even as if I'm blaming her. I know what she went through, I know that she's toxic, she can't have a motherly instinct. And one of the reasons why I wanted him to stay with her, before I found out what she did to him, is because of breast milk. But her breast milk is basically like chocolate milk anyway. I mean, her diet consists of chocolate chips and cooked potatoes and, also...
Why were you ever with this woman?
Cooked meat, like cooked pork. That's basically her diet. Very little raw meat, sometimes like a bite. So her breast milk isn't even...
Yeah, and you fly in planes, you ride in cars. On, I don't know, pleather couch? You're wearing cotton clothes? I mean, is that natural, bro?
Good, technically. When I think about it, cow's milk would probably be even better for him anyway, like cow's or goat milk, but that's done. This is why, for me, the topic is dead. People have said, like, why don't you do something? There's literally nothing you can do about it. I did everything I possibly can. Subscribers helped me to do it, but yeah, that's it. Except if you know some miracle, except if you can tell me some miracle or something to do, hey, please, I would welcome it. But
Miracle. Come on, man. He's a deadbeat dad, basically. He's got mental problems. You know, and look, I'm not trying to bash the man, but let's just keep it real. The dude is no good. They made a mistake by having this kid, you know, and I guess it was never gonna end well anyway, because the foundation was just, both of them are toxic people. Both of them are just, it is what it is, man. They're just like, and ultimately, we're just getting one side of the story here. So, what can you do with this? But to all the men out there, like, handle your shit, handle your business. Don't just, you know, empty the gun and the first pretty girl that smiles at you. You know what I mean? Like this. What are you doing? That's some serious shit. I shouldn't even have to say this. It comes with serious circumstances. If you're gonna create another life, we're just gonna like abandon it because that's what we would have done in nature. That's such bullshit. You don't have any evidence for this. You're just saying it because it's convenient. Because you fucked up and you don't want to take responsibility for the things that you did. So now you're just gonna, when it's convenient, you're gonna say it's natural, right? Even though nothing about your existence is natural in the sense that you talk about, the way you define nature. Nothing about you is natural. You know, you say morality doesn't exist, there is no right and wrong, and then you say you're a victim, while at the same time projecting this sort of like alpha, strong male who doesn't give a fuck, while literally holding back the tears while making this video. This is how unemotional you are. Look, this is not meant to be a hate video. This is just this type of shit. I just see this, and I'm only gonna really talk about men. And if I don't know. I mean, I have some idea of how women work, you know what I mean? I've been able to figure it out and piece it together. But I realized that, well, some things you're not even supposed to understand. Just accept them when it comes to women. Don't spend your time trying to figure it out or justify it or whatever. Just swallow your fucking pride and understand that you're never going to be able to fully understand. What I do get, and I feel I could contribute to, is how men tick. So I'm not trying to be like super hard on men or unbiased. This is just my area of expertise, right? I'm not going to tell women what to do or how to do it, because that never works, guys. Right? That never works. So lead by example, basically. Take responsibility for yourself. Value yourself. Be a good person as much as you can be, and you're gonna attract exactly that, right? Be a shitbag, scumbag with no morals, reject morality, right? And what do you think you're gonna get in life when you talk all this nonsense and act like anybody that doesn't eat raw meat is mentally ill, right? Anybody who doesn't like death metal is mentally ill, right? And, like, listening to this completely and utterly dissonant music, that's gonna rot your brain. Or the reason why you like it is because your brain is rotted. There is no order. it's all discord. It's all dissonance. That's why it resonates with you, this type of music and all this. And it's not like I'm just picking on music, right? Because these sort of lifestyles, trends, whatever the fuck you want to call them, they entail a bunch of other shit, right? Relative morality, drinking blood because it's cool, you know what I mean? This type of shit. Like, and all these other ideas about like what's, it just doesn't make any sense, man. On the one hand, there's no morality, but on the other hand, this is right and this is wrong because I say so. The guy, the guy is lost, okay? And much of what he said about her, which I believe is true, is really just a projection of who he is, which is why these two got together. They gravitated toward one another because it was like holding up a mirror, and they're narcissists. They liked that about each other until it came to a fucking head, because ultimately at the end of the day they actually hate themselves too, and they recognize that about each other, and they drifted apart. So it's this constant push and pull, right? Complete and utter narcissist that on some level hates himself, and they're both like that, and they saw in each other themselves. So on the one hand it appealed to them, but ultimately it repelled them. It came to a head because they just don't love themselves, right? These people hate themselves. So this little kid of his, which is literally a continuation physically, right? If you're going to be Mr. Natural, that's literally a continuation of your genes, bruh. Right? There's nothing more natural than that. That little man is in large part you. Literally, that's you. Right? But he doesn't like himself. I would venture, I guess, that he actually hates himself sometimes. Because if he truly loved himself, how could he just abandon his child like that? Okay? And please don't tell me he's done everything. Clearly he hasn't. Clearly he has not. When she was saying, one last thing, when she was saying, I want to come see you, he could have said, okay, bring my son. Right? He didn't want to see his son. It is what it is, ladies and gentlemen. Women, I'm not saying they're all right, because they're just as fucked up as men are, but women are gonna women, guys. Like, there's not much you can do about that, but what you can do is make sure that you are as good as you can be. And trust me, once you figure your own shit out, I'm speaking from personal experience, you're going to attract people that are like that. And your life is going to be a lot easier, right? So first you have to, this is like the most cliche, dumbest shit, but it's so fucking true, right? If you don't love yourself, how could you love anybody else, basically? Not that difficult. Anyway, long as video, I don't know. Maybe I'll just turn into a relationship channel, because I'm such a fucking expert. Something I've been wanting to talk about for a while, seeing how so many men out there just struggle with this shit, because, you know, it's rough out there. Trust me, I know. You know it. But, like, if you assume the role of a victim you will be. Alright? If you take charge and responsibility, trust me, there are plenty of good enough women out there that will be good enough for you. Alright? Or better. Thanks for watching.